for.
Alright, hi everybody, my name is emeraldaly. Had some bizarre microphone issues a minute ago. I'll have some stories to tell later on. But this is Maquette. It's a first-person puzzle game with puzzles based around nested worlds. Just real quick, I want to talk about what you're about to see. You may have noticed on the schedule this is marked off as the 2-for-1, and what that basically means is we're going to do a glitchless or no skips run, that's the name on the leaderboard, to show off the full game essentially, and follow that up with a full-on any percent run to better demonstrate the power and significance of all the skips. I think it'll be really fun. It's the first time I've ever done the two together, and let's get started. Time starts at the first frame. This will be for no skips. Time starts at the first frame. I have control. I'll count you in as best I can. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright. You may notice that this game is extremely quiet. There are a few sound effects. That is sadly because of our 4 favorite letters of the alphabet, DMCA. There is a song specifically, it's in this chapter, that would get the VOD muted if it played, so can't be having that. This is the gardens. This really just exists to introduce the controls and whatnot. Nothing really special to it. For the no skips run, the glitchless run, you're just trying to take optimal lines to get from the beginning to the end. You can see I'm not really following the walking trails hardly at all. A little bit for right now because there's really no line to follow. And yeah. This game has been described as Superliminal meets Florence. If you're familiar with those games, Superliminal in that it's... Okay, not gonna worry about that. In that it's... there we go. Superliminal had the same sort of puzzle mechanic. Puzzles based on worlds that nest together, which you're not really seeing in this prologue, but you will see soon enough. And Florence is kind of a... It's a narrative game with more of a romantic comedy storyline. And that is the story of this game. It's the story of these two artists, Michael and Kenzie, who meet and basically fall in and out of love with each other. It's not Inception in terms of story complexity or anything like that, but it's very earnestly played by Bryce Dallas Howard voices Kenzie, and Seth Gable, who is actually her husband in real life, and an actor of some renown in his own right, voices Michael. They obviously have some chemistry together, and it's very earnestly played, very, very nice. It's also kind of completely superfluous to the game, so you're not really missing anything super necessary by not seeing the cutscenes. And the cutscenes in this game aren't fully animated. You never actually see any people in this game. It's not even clear who our character is. You're just kind of navigating the memories of Kenzie and Michael. You may have noticed there was some writing on the walls as we came through the gardens. That is a recurrent feature. It gives some story details and whatnot. It's the end of the gardens up here. They have their sketchbook. Once that triggers, we're off to the next chapter. Now, every chapter has significant skips in it, which you'll see in the second run. This one will be one to keep in mind. Well, I don't know. I guess they'll all kind of be one to keep in mind. So we have this castle here. By fulfilling certain objectives in this level, that castle turns into a house where Michael and Kenzie's friends are having a party. Now, do remember this, how all we're doing with that red block is moving it. Keep that in mind for the any percent run, which is going to be in about half an hour. Go down here, get this bridge piece. And for the first time, we'll see how the worlds nest together and how that influences the puzzle solutions. You can see inside this dome, there is a smaller dome. And if you were to look outside the dome that's our size, you would see a larger one looming in the distance. That should be okay. That's not exactly what I want it to look like, but it's not moving. See, there's the big bridge piece we're able to cross there. skip the cutscene to get up here, and I totally ran past the carnival ticket. There is actually a skip you can do there. Yes, a skip in the no skips run. I won't harp on it, but I don't like that game. Or you can get out of that area without having to ride the elevator. It's a small time save and extremely risky. I don't believe I've ever actually achieved it. So we size down the carnival ticket by leaving the large one outside the dome. That makes a smaller one spawn inside the dome. Why are we not moving? Okay. The carnival then spawns. You're supposed to look around a little and find a wall you can't get past. You flip the switch inside the dome. You flip the tiny switch. That makes the wall in the life-size world fade away. So I'm supposed to, like, teach you that what you do in one has a one-to-one relationship with the other. It's not just what you do. I'm totally not going the right way. It's not just what you do in the big world influences the small world. The small world... what was I saying about DMCA? The small world influences the big world, too. So we get the key, we open this door. There's a giant gap in this next area. How are we going to pass that gap? Well, here's how you're supposed to do it. We'll do it differently in about half an hour. Just lay the key there. This is the last trigger to make the castle turn into the party house. Head on back. Hey everybody, hope you're having a good night/day/whatever. Since I don't know what time zone you're in. Take the key, gotta size it down, so you leave it outside the dome. That makes the small key spawn inside the dome. Take the small key to the small party house, and it will open the door. I got a little stuck on this puzzle in my casual playthrough, because I certainly figured out that by putting the key like so, you could cross the gap, but then you don't have anything to open the door with. That's why you do it with the small key in the small party house inside the dome. That's the Maquette. Next is gateways. I'm going to say this all run, but definitely keep this level in mind for any percent. First thing we gotta do here is get this pink gem out of this little room. Touch it to this other pink crystal. Makes the gate fade away. And the gimmick in this level is those little mesh screen-looking things melt away if you're carrying the gem that's the same color. So we pass through pink. We pull this. That makes the blue gem fall out. The other night in practice, I made this gem stand perfectly on its end. Did I do it again? No. Okay, that would have been amazing. Okay, now we need to size it down. Take the smaller pink gem, put it on the slanted roof here. That is not quite right. Get the blue gem from out of there. Oh, I almost skipped a step. Again, what you do in the small world affects the big world as well. So that allows the larger pink gem to get into here. Cutscene. And this door allows the green and pink gems to be liberated. Leave them both behind for the moment. So we want to put the pink gem on the balcony of the greenhouse. Not to be confused with a greenhouse. And come back with the green gem. You see how many steps this takes? Just remember this for any percent. Now we're in here. Pass the green gem through the grate. Get it out. Pink gem takes us inside the house. We have a key here. If I time this just right, I won't have to manipulate the key at all. I'll be able to just... that wasn't quite right. That was close. I'm going to say be able to just pass it through the window. It can be done a little bit faster than that. around here. We can drop the pink gem again because we can get it from the dome. Pick green back up. And the miniature brain fart. What we need is the little key to open this door on the beach. You can use the big key to open the big door, but there's no need. That opens the door. It also opens this side window where the pink gem goes in. You cannot do that until the door is open. The pink gem simply... The window simply won't be there. It won't be open. And you can't pass the pink gem through. You need the pink gem for that. Skip another cutscene. Almost all of the cutscenes in this game are skippable. It's quite nice. There are actually a couple that were added in a patch that aren't. And we'll get to that in a couple chapters. This is our first excursion outside of the big world into the very, very big world, where we do the same thing we did at the beginning of the chapter. Touch the pink gem to the larger pink gem. And now we go back into the life-size world. There's actually one of the missable trophies / achievements in the game. If you go out into the very, very large world, by the greenhouse, and you go into the doghouse, there's pictures of, like, the pets of the developers of this game. And it's pretty cute. That's gateways. Next is the wedge. Fair warning, I did say I was going to be saying this all run, but look at that church. We will not be back at that church for some minutes, but that is our goal. Keep that in mind. Have to go on a little excursion first. Now we are so small that we can't go up those steps in front of the pink house here. We have to climb up the rake. The game sort of taunts you by putting some of the story text on the steps. You can skip this step. I haven't been getting it right lately. Can end up just straight here. It's probably a 2-second time save. You gotta jump up the pots and rocks on the steps, little pebbles. Make it into here. This is the titular wedge. And it will enable us to get where we want to go. This, by the way, is the chapter with the cutscenes that were added. Unskippable cutscenes. But, and I had to have the people on the Discord tell me this, it also added, I think it procs here. No, I guess not. It added, in some places, much, much, much faster movement speed for the unseen character. So, the folks on the Discord tell me it's a wash, or even that the current patch is faster even with the unskippable cutscenes added in. I don't know, I hadn't actually played this game in a little while prior to derusting over this past week, so I didn't really remember that speed enhancement not being there. But it indeed wasn't. Put the wedge by the low section of the fence. That is not even close to close enough. What am I doing? That's not even close to close enough either. There we go. So the added cutscenes, there's 2 of them. Here's the first one, showing you, oh, that gate's going down. It didn't used to be that it would show you the gate going down and the door coming open. I speculate that people complained about this, like, not being a clear objective, and it kinda wasn't, but also it kinda is like, what all can you do? There's only so many possibilities. We're gonna want to go into this house, but we have to do it from the very large world, so put that there, and we can't really make our way through there, so I don't know why I tried that. Flip the switch here, this reveals the wall receiving back there. That was always in the game. That was not added in the patch. And the next area, the building with the big chimney, it's very similar. There's one of those cutscenes that shows the gate lowering, another one that shows the outer wall lowering. The gate lowering one didn't used to be there, the outer wall one did. Alright, there's the speed up right there. You can see we are flying for a couple of seconds. It mostly pops up when you're in the very, very large world, and you're the size of an ant. But I do believe it pops up a couple of times in the life-size world as well. That scene there that's like, hey, there's a lever up here. Maybe you would like to pull it. I don't actually remember what this does. But it is required, I do know that. Well, required unless you're a speedrunner who skips the whole game. Okay. So now we make our way back to the dome. You can see big, big dome, so much bigger than this. And as we climb up the stairs, this dome looks small until you reach it, and then it's life-size. I really love the art direction for this game. And take yon wedge. It needs to be larger, so we will put it, say, there. Makes this pick up. Yeah, we can pick that up. It looked like it was as big as we are, but we can pick it up. Yeah, there's the area with the building with the smoky chimney. Place that. This elevator takes us outside to the very, very large world. Yeah, anytime you hear that sort of eerie sound, that's text spawning. There again, the cutscene of the gate lowering and the doors opening, because I guess people needed to be shown this. I don't know that for sure, but it's a pretty safe bet, I think. Now this is kind of a devious puzzle here. We gotta size the wedge down. That much at least is somewhat obvious, but then what we have to do is put it in front of this house, not straight on, but like this. And you'll see why shortly. Next switch brings that down. Try to get off the stairs as quick as possible. So yeah, I don't know if maybe you can already tell, but if I had put the wedge straight onto that door, it would not reach high enough. It's a distance you cannot jump. You can't hardly jump at all in this game, but certainly, as an ant, you cannot jump that far. So you have to have the handrail get you to the door. You just step on it here. Don't jump, just step and walk up the handrail, and that gets you in the door. Little cutscene here to show you the key in the mousetrap. Interesting to note, it is actually possible to get that key from out of bounds in the life-size world without going to the very, very large world. But there's no category as the leaderboards that are currently set up that would allow you to do that. Oh. Yeah, that little bit of tech was found by a runner called Blood Thunder the very day the game came out. I was pretty impressed. So now we have the key. We can make our way into yon church. Yeah, I think we had some super speed there, even while we're just in the normal size world. So that's cool. Now that we have the key, we can finally make it in the one and only way inside this church. It's not the only way inside the church. Bells are ringing. I think you're supposed to hit the bell in the life-size world, but I have never figured out how. And hitting it in the small world inside the dome counts too. Alright, the escape. Michael and Kenzie have had their fight. They are not getting along anymore. This level is really just walking simulator and story and a text coming on screen. So if the host would like to jump in with anything, this is probably the best time. That's not? Okay. You can see the world forming around us as we hit various trigger boxes. Again, I sound like a broken record, but keep that in mind. Yeah, it's never entirely clear from whose perspective the lines that you see spawning in as text. It's never clear whether that's Michael or Kenzie saying those things. I thought at first it was Kenzie, because the last text in the game is the words "Goodbye, Sunflower," and "Hello, Sunflower" is one of the first, well, not the first thing when they first meet, but when they're a couple, one of the first things that Kenzie says to Michael. So I thought that meant it was Kenzie, but Michael calls her Sunflower too. So it's impossible to know for sure. Alright. Now, strangely enough, that elevator doesn't mask a load, because you can just instantly skip it. Pick up the pink orb, and it shows the way forward. Actually, you have to pick it up too. It is the only thing that dispels the walls you need to walk through, even if you know exactly the way you're going, which chances are I'll make a wrong turn or two, because I always do, no matter how much I practice. But even if you know exactly the way you're going, you still need the orb to dispel some walls, including that one right at the beginning. Take here. No? Here. Yeah, there it is. And here. Caught myself that time. It's like constantly, that's not a wrong turn, that's a wrong no turn. See our goal off in the distance. Not entirely sure what the level geometry here is supposed to represent. It's very abstract, very ethereal. The blue butterflies sort of become an arc symbol in the final level of the game. Alright, next is the spiral. This is the worst level in the game. I'm just gonna say it. You have 3 save slots in the menus, and you know, speedrunner, safety saves, and all of that. All 3 of mine are for this level. It's not quite so bad for any percent, but there's some skips that can, if you get them wrong, just completely softlock you. And in the regular no skips glitchless, this level has 2 of the 2 fiddliest puzzles in the game. Like, even in your first playthrough, they are very aggravating because, at least with the one, it's very obvious what you're supposed to do, but actually getting it right requires immense trial and error. And I think that's kind of not so great design, at least for a puzzle game. The point of a puzzle is to figure out what you're supposed to do, not get it pixel perfect exactly right. But we're not there quite yet. Got to flip some switches and spawn some bridges. We'll be headed towards the stone dome in the center of this little I was again going to call it ethereal, but it's kind of... It's almost post-apocalyptic to me, just very... And that suits the storyline of Michael and Kenzie having broken up. It's very just oppressive architecture, obviously very muted colors, very dark, very, like, snow like ash on the ground. It's very gloomy, foggy even. Now we're headed for the Stone Dome. I've noticed among the community for this game, some of the runners for this game tend to use the word maquette as though it were a synonym for dome, and I don't know, I'm a word nerd. This is all on me, it's not on anyone else, but maquette doesn't mean dome. It just means an unfinished sculpture, unfinished work of art. So the dome is a maquette, but they're not really synonyms. I'm a word nerd, forgive me. Alright, coming up on the worst puzzle. Like I said, it's very obvious what you're supposed to do, but getting it perfectly correct is troublesome. That's not even what I was reading. Now you're supposed to use 3 rods. I find it much more consistent. Certainly potentially faster to only use 2.
That's when it became our schedule.
You didn't tell me you wrote your number.
Oh, I'm so happy! Oh, that's the best that can go.
Me too.
And that is the worst puzzle in the game. I'm so happy to get that, like, not have to go back and move any of the rods or anything like that. That could have taken me a minute and a half, realistically, to get that right. And it took, 15 seconds, so I'm giving a little bit of it back here, because we gotta have this key lead up as, like, a staircase. That should do. You see all those keys in this area? The only one that will actually open the door is this one. By the way, you might notice that you're hearing the characters speak here. If you skip the cutscenes like a good speedrunner, this is the only time you will hear them speak. And just before coming live, I was practicing this puzzle when the tech checker George came in and sort of buzzed my towers in Discord, so I was hearing Kenzie and Michael, and then all of a sudden a third voice, so it kind of spooked me for just a second. It was good.
No, we're not just friends.
This puzzle is hard. I did not get this one on my own because I was, I don't know, a little tired of something at the time, so I did look up the solution for this one. But even if you know exactly what you're supposed to do, it's not as obvious as the other one, but even if you know exactly what you're supposed to do, the controls and the camera can really mess with you on this one. The objects, like, snap into positions on the Tetris board, and sometimes they don't really like to snap out. And that's not correct. That's not correct either, is it? No, it isn't. What am I doing? That's correct. It's easy enough to cross this gap by placing those pieces, but then you also have to arrange things in a way to cross this one, and I don't know, I could just never really figure it out in my casual playthrough. Okay, so that's the spiral. That went okay. Could have gone a lot worse. Exchange is the last chapter, but it's somewhat lengthy, so be ready on time, but it's not imminent. In this chapter, we get to move the dome itself as an object, and that enables some pretty cool movements. If you're exploring and find yourself unable to return, hold triangle to return to the dome. We will abuse the heck out of that. Got these little buildings in this massive courtyard. The blue butterflies are your clue to which one you have to go in next. This puzzle is evil. This is one of the trophies in the game. To make it across on your first try, the game does not tell you that it moves the dome away from where you had it. You have to move it back first to have any chance of making it on your first try. And I did not leave it in a good position, so this might be close. Okay, not that close. Alright, we have these, pillars with colors and symbols on them. If I can find the first one, where is it? Okay, there it is. That was weird. Just have to match up the symbols. Excuse me? Oh. Oh, no, I changed the wrong one. Dang it. That was very stupid. And then on this one, you don't actually get to see them. But it's the same order every time. I went too far on this one. And no, you don't have to trial and error this. There is a way of knowing. You position the dome in front of you in such a way that the broken window at the top of it is facing you. That shows you the colors and symbols. But it's the same order every time, so if you have it memorized, it's the same every time. Okay, get ready on time. It is in under 1 minute. Back to the dome. Put the Maquette, the dome, on the slanted rock. That leads us into our little final artifact. All the little artifacts we touch through here do have significance in the story, but you're not really going to know them. Okay, time is imminent. And time. Alright, so that is the no skips run. Hope you enjoyed it. You got to see the puzzle solutions for the most part. Let me know if we've got the timer ready for the any percent run.
Yeah.
I barely heard anything. You were in my ear for
not
like
yet.
half a second. Okay.
It'll...
Sure, let me know.
Alright, you can go now.
Alrighty. So, same start on time, so not right away. It's when we first gain control. I'll again count you in as best I can. 3, 2, 1, go. Sorry that was like super late. Okay. Any percent for this game, it starts off with the hardest skip right away. Which is kind of nice in a way. You can grind for this skip and just ditch the runs that don't get it and keep the ones that do get it. That's actually the easy part. Here comes the hard part. You want to get over this wall and out of bounds. Oh, that was so close.
Oh, first run was like a 31:35, but I think the timer started a little late.
That's okay. 30 was kind of an ambitious estimate anyway, because 31 would still be a PB for me, quite frankly. Oh, come on. This is far and away the hardest skip in the any percent. Everything else, there we go. Everything else is manageable. So you notice me back up a little bit there? That's me climbing up an invisible slant. There is a large invis wall right where those bushes end. So you have to go up that slant to get around it. Now we are way the heck out of bounds. I just love it when you get to see a level like this. So obviously the out of bounds took a little bit of doing. But if you get it right away, it's a powerful time save over all that walking around. Level isn't even really loaded in all that well. But this end part is. That's important. We're about to do a glitch called prop flying. We're going to take the key, lay it on the ground in front of us, pull it towards us, and fly. Fly like an eagle. Alright. We will do that a lot in this run. There's actually two different kinds of prop flight. One where you gain height and one where you don't. The one where you gain height is a lot easier, at least for me. And honestly, part of me is glad that we have to mute the music. Otherwise, I would be able to tell by the song exactly how much time it's taking me to get that skip. It's like, oh, I got to this point in the song. This run sucks. And I don't know, better not to know sometimes. So we still trigger that. Remember how all we did with the cube in the no sketch run was get it out of the way? In any percent, we're actually going to use it. We need the small cube going over here. Remember how many steps it took us to get here in the no skips run? Well, you can actually get there just that fast. Now this is the non-height gaining prop flight. I have not been doing very well at these lately, but there we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. Hit that cutscene trigger there. It's technically faster to prop fly back, but I don't trust myself. And it's not that much faster unless you're the world record holder who can do everything I'm doing right here in one fluid motion as a prop flight. It's extremely impressive. So there you can see, it's the party house. And hopefully this works. Nope. Gotta go back and try that again. No, I can already tell that one's not gonna work. There we go. And you may be wondering, don't we still need the key? No, we don't. You prop fly up the stairs and it clips you through the door. And you're off to the gateways. Alright. You're gonna love this one. Pink gem to dispel the gate, just like before, but that's all. We're gonna climb up this little castle here. Fall off it. RNG manipulation. Then just gotta make sure... Oh, come on. Make sure we're on the very tip-top of it. Could be good. No, come on. There we go. There's an end of level trigger there. Don't know why. Okay, here's this church. We're gonna go straight into it in this run. Climb up this little piece of geometry here. And then fall off, RNG manipulation. Okay. Like, for realsies. Just gotta make sure we're on the top of it. Then just jump in the opening. Getting out is a little tricky, but I found a pretty consistent setup for it. Just be toes on the candle holder and run forward and jump. At the little crack in the wall there. And you've satisfied all objectives for this level. So all you gotta do is go hit the bell. Hit the bell. That's the wedge. Hopefully you're seeing why I think the 2-for-1 is such a strong marathon showcase for this game. Theoretically, it's an idea that could work for any game, but this game, since the run's so short anyway and the skips are so dramatic, I think it really suits it well. Alright. Remember how the geometry of, like, the city that the character was walking through was forming its way in front of us? Well, we just jumped around it. We're not going to go through that. We're going to head this way. There is a little gap in the geometry. Right about where... I'm trying to point exactly, but right about where the HUD dot is. Could have used the speed up here, but I think it's not here because you're not supposed to be here. Naughty speedrunner. There's our little gap. We have to make sure we land on something solid because that area to the right of us is an endless abyss. You fall in there, you are doomed. And you can actually soft lock when trying to jump back into bounds here. This is the elevator that didn't mask a load. Oh, seizure warning for this upcoming skip. The screen is going to jump around a lot. So, headache warning even. Take care of yourselves out there. I'm going the wrong way. That doesn't help. So this is a combination of a prop flight where you don't gain height and one where you do. Because you just gain height for just a moment, and then you kind of coast on it. And it helps that the light for the goal is so bright, and by the time you get to this point, it's all you can see. Hop off right about there. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, Spiral is still pretty brutal in this category, but for different reasons. It starts off very much the same. And since it starts off very much the same and I'm just walking around, if you wanted to jump in with anything, this is another good time. Sometimes when I run games that were on PlayStation Plus, such as this one, I like to sort of bring it up to viewers that, hey, you may have this game and not even know it, but this game was PlayStation Plus for the PlayStation 5 only, so might be rubbing salt in the wound for some folks if I was to try to bring that up now. Although I believe you can claim PlayStation Plus PS5 games even without the console itself. Okay, here's where the paths diverge. We're going to take the little bridge piece and we're going to prop fly with it. Setup is a little kooky. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have warned. This one's a little bit shaky too. Not as bad as the last one, but take care of yourselves out there. This is one of those where I'm not usually someone who says things like this, but how did anyone find this? This part, I guess I can understand how someone found it, because prop flying was already sort of a thing. And honestly, one time when I may have let go too soon. No, I'm good. Honestly, when I practiced this on my stream, somebody saw this and said Fallout wants their glitch back. So, but this part here, nope. What we're doing is clipping ourselves through the stairs because there's an end of level trigger there. Why is there an end of level trigger there? Oh, that looked good. You have to jump right as this hits you in the head. I didn't walk far enough forward. Welcome to Bleeding Time. Okay, I have no idea where the bridge piece wound up. This is why we have safety saves. It bounced away a great distance. Yeah, as you may guess, my other safety save is for the prop fight. There we go. And if you let the cutscene play, it really messes up the cutscene too. Kinda kooky. Alright, so remember in this level we were supposed to hit little artifacts from Michael and Kenzie's life to open the door to the area with the sketchbook in it. How about we just go straight into the building with the sketchbook in it? Does that sound like a plan to anybody? It should, because that's eventually what we're going to be doing here. What I have to do here is get the dome stuck. It's not quite as hard as this is making it look. I usually get it in 1 or 2 tries. Come on. Come on. Why does it not flush against the spire? What? Oh, I thought I had it there. It's not good when it falls like that. Seriously, this does not take this many tries, ever. Come on. Jeez, thank you. And then, of course, that would happen, that I hopped straight over the portal. So that took like a minute. But here we are in the building that has the sketchbook in it. We just drop down in front of the sketchbook, and now the game thinks we've done everything. So we can just pick this up, go back to the tree, and time. So that was Maquette 241. Hope you enjoyed it. You got a first-hand taste of how powerful the skips for any percent are, even though the end of the any percent run was kind of scuffed. And yeah, thanks for having me. I'll be back tomorrow night with Astro's Playroom. Enjoy the rest of the marathon.
Alright, that was Emeraldaly with Maquette, 2 for 1. Next up we got Two Worlds doing 2 games, Yakuza Kiwami 2, and Fable. But first we're going to be running a quick Twitch ad. All right, and I'll be done my hosting session here. Next up, covering hosting will be poker.
Hello, I'll be your host for the next couple of games, and let's quickly get ready for Yakuza Kiwami 2, which is coming next, and we'll see that in just a second. Just as a quick reminder, you are watching NASA 2021. We are supporting Save the Children. Links to donate can be found below on the stream. If you'd like to do it, it's an incredibly good cause. So make sure to, just check that button and see our incentives and bid wars, and something might come to your interest. Right now, we have raised over $336. Thank you all so very much for all your generous donations. We're waiting for more. And just as a perspective, just $100 can supply the shelter and essential supplies to a family in crisis who needs to survive. So thank you so much once again, and we can't wait for more. Speaking of not being Speaking of not able to wait for more, we will see some new fresh speedruns in just a second with Yakuza Kiwami 2. And thank you for your attention, and we will switch in a second.
بدي أدخل الجامعة ونفسي أصير لما أكبر دكتورة جلدية.
بحب أكون مهندس معماري عشان أبني وطني من جديد.
లాయరైతే ఎవరైనా భార్య భర్తను విడిపోతే వాళ్ళని కలపాలని కోరుకుంటున్నాను.
أما كرلا سولير فايدو.
في صعوبة للبوليس.
أكبر بدي يطلع دكتور أطفال.
دكتور عيون.
The boss of the company.
أنا بوصف حالي إني أنا مجتهد، أنا بثق بحالي وأنا متعلم.